Welcome back. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. If you could ask God one question, what would that be? Well, I tell you what, we're not speaking for God specifically, but we are talking about some very interesting questions and some very interesting answers. And Andy Brewster is here. Of course, he is a minister at the Charlotte Avenue Church of Christ. And Andy, we're on this. It's been more than a month now, hasn't it?
Yeah, but a little over a month.
Yeah, and we were talking about this campaign that you did. Explain that, refresh viewers' memories now.
Right. So the 12 Questions campaign is where we put the word out throughout the month of April, especially in Rock Hill, but really around the whole Charlotte area. If you could ask God one question, what would you ask Him? And we directed them to our website, 12questions.org. And a lot of people submitted questions, and now we've broken them down. We've separated them into the 12 most frequently asked questions, and then each one of those questions we'll answer on Wednesday nights in June, July, and August.
Yep. Your reaction to the questions that you got?
Man, there's been some really good ones, some interesting ones, some weird ones, to be honest. You know, there's a lot of different questions, but most people wanted to know about, you know, what's heaven going to be like? You know, am I going to know my family there? How can I know that I'm going to get there? Of course, people want to know about what's my purpose for life? What does God want me to do in this life? What happens after death? And those types of things. So we had some really great questions, and questions about is the Bible really your word? And what's the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament? So lots of great questions that people are legitimately searching, and that's what we really wanted to make sure that people knew, that there are answers that God provides in Scripture.
What are the more difficult ones to ask? I think some questions are very obvious. I mean, it's easy to say, well, take a look at this and all. But there are some that take quite a bit of divining on, on a person's part to determine exactly what it means. What kind of questions are those?
I think the two questions that are probably going to be the most challenging ones, the ones that are going to challenge even people who are faithful Christians to answer is, one question was, what was the point of the forbidden fruit? And if it was for us to be tempted, why? So why does God allow us to be tempted? And that's a great question. And then another one, especially from the Old Testament, was, you know, we think about the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not murder. Why did you command not to murder, but then told your people to kill other people? Specifically thinking about the driving out the Canaanites out of the Promised Land. So questions about God's character, questions about who God is, and is He really this all-loving, all-good kind of God that we think about often, or does Scripture present a different picture of Him?
Oh, these are very interesting questions and all. Do you think, in its most purest form, that God does want us to question things about the Bible?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think biblical faith at all is blind faith that just simply believes because God tells us to. God's not afraid of our questions, and He gives us answers in Scripture. Now, He may not answer every question specifically, but He gives us the principles that we need to know the answers and the things that we ought to do in every aspect of our life.
Oh, man. Andy Brewster, this is really good. And we're going to answer the questions. When specifically? What dates and all?
Starting June 1st, and every Wednesday night during the summertime, you can come to our building, the Charlotte Avenue Church of Christ in Rock Hill, or you can live stream it on 12questions.org.
You need to do this. I think we're going to get some fascinating answers and things like that.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to it. Andy, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. No problem.
And we'll have more. We'll do some follow-up. Have you come back on the show again sometime. All right, 14 minutes after 8. We'll be back right after this.